Hello and welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, where I am very bravely taking on one of my Achilles heel classes of puzzle today. I'm sure you may know the story of how Achilles' mother was allowed to dip Achilles in the Styx, the river Styx, to provide him with a magical kind of protection all over his body, but she held him by the heel, and so he was vulnerable at the heel. Well, my mother held me somewhere where I couldn't understand indexing, and that's what this puzzle's all about. Apparently computer programmers are really comfortable with this idea, and that's been borne out in the comments of our other videos, but I'm not. So we will have a look at that in a moment. Don't forget that we've been doing a collaborative solve that you can see on our Patreon channel. Also, there's just a few hours left to enter the linked Sudoku competition, and yeah, I've been testing next month's competition. It's a lot harder. If you like the puzzles easier and you want a chance to enter and you don't think you can take on over a dozen pretty tough puzzles, then get into this one quickly. So we'll see how that goes next month. I wonder if we'll come up with a sort of easier variant. I don't know. But there's some absolutely brilliant duality puzzles by the Skunkworks collective, and I mean, you should try them because they are utterly brilliant, but they are pretty tough too. Anyway, that's all on Patreon. On the channel, we've had our live stream lately. We've had a second burst of puzzles from our 500k app. My estimate is that if we get if we do really well across 2 more live streams, we will finish the app, but we would have to do really well to finish it in 4 more hours or so. But we're going to have another go, I think, on Thursday this week. Simon might have better information than I do on that, but I think we're planning to do it on Thursday at 10 p.m. our time, which is 5 p.m. Eastern time. Somebody corrected me. I don't know how I got that wrong. I think it's, unless summer times ended in the US, it's 5 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. California time, 11 p.m. European time. So that's when we're going to be live streaming next. Do join us if you can. Thanks to people who, for instance, left a wedding party to join us last time and rejoined it. Fantastic. Gosh, we don't mean to be causing trouble in your personal lives. Anyway, let's consider this puzzle. There's a lot of other links under the video. You can check them all out. But this puzzle is by Zycruzine, whose debut it is on the channel, and they've seen us do an indexing puzzle where some of the numbers were indexed. Now, I don't think Zycruzine has seen us do a fully indexed puzzle because they've provided it as though it's a first. But I think we have done one, and I do know a thing or two about these which may be useful. You can deduce them as you go, and we have had to do that in the past. Anyway, the rules are these. Normal Sudoku rules apply. That's 1 to 9 in every row, column, and box. Any digit appearing in the nth column of a row indicates the column where n appears in that row. Now just think about that for a second. So let's say n is 8. So any digit appearing in the 8th column of this row, let's say 5, indicates the column where n appears in that row. So that 5 in the 8th column means that in this row, 8 appears in the 5th column. And that's what it means. And also that 8 in the 5th column means that 5, the number or index of its column, appears in the 8th column. So that works and is possible. I don't know if that's going to be right in the solution. We also have thermos, so digits along a thermometer increase from the bulb. So this gets bigger from the bulb all the way to the tip. Those are the rules, and it's a beautifully simple grid presentation. Just 4 longer thermos and 5 shorter ones. No givens in the grid, just these rules to cope with. It surprises me that this is solvable, but interesting. And as I have mentioned, not a puzzle in which I'm a specialist, but I am very keen to have a go, and let's see how this goes. Let's get cracking. I'm going to restart the clock so I know my time. Right. So if I wasn't me, I'd be doing things like observing that there are only 2 places, for 1 to go in that column. Or noting that 8 and 9 in this row must be in that group of cells, because these thermometers both have more than 2 or more than 1 cell to go after the points at which they've got to. But instead, I am me, and I am going to pencil mark the longer thermos. I know Simon will be watching this video going, I bet he pencil marks the 2 cell thermos too. And maybe I will, but maybe not yet. So what does this mean for the indexing? This means that the number 3, because we're in column 3 here, in this row, in the top row, the number 3 must appear in column 7, 8 or 9. So there's a 3 in one of those. The number 2, this is row 1, column 2, must appear in column 6, 7 or 8. So there's a 2 in one of those. And the number 1 must be in one of those 3, 5, 6 or 7. But the number 1 in row 2, oh, this is good, must be in one of these 3 cells because of the 4, 5, 6 here. That's saying it appears in column 4, 5 or 6. And if there's a 1 in those cells, there isn't a 1 in these cells, and the 1 that we were pencil marking in the top, and I wasn't sure about pencil marking across boxes, but I'm glad I did it now. Yes, that's there, and that means that this is a 7 to show that there's a 1. And this is one of the secrets of this format, is that all the numbers you put into the grid that refer to other cells are mutual. The 7 says there's a 1 in the 7th column, and the 1 says that there's a 7 in the 1st column. So they act as a pair that work with each other. Anyway, moving back to thermo, we've got a 7 here, so we can fill in 8 and 9 on the thermo. These 8 and 9 have messages for us. They say that 2 is in the 8th column and 3 is in the 9th column. And then there we go. We've got a 7, 8, 9 with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the middle. That hasn't told us where the 1 goes. Now let's try it with these. This 1, 2, 3 means that 3 goes in one of these cells. That's incredibly far less helpful than we were getting with these. So there's a 3 there and a 3 there. 2 goes in column 2, 3 or 4. And this is now introducing the concept of a self-referential digit, and I remember that those are very important. Yeah, I'm just going to explain a bit of theory first of all. 7 and 1 are mutual, so if we were to colour them green for mutual digits, 8 and 2 are mutual, 9 and 3 are mutual. Yeah, this is really interesting. So 4, 5 and 6, they might, for instance, be, you would think, possibly like that, and all of them would be self-referential. Let's make that orange. And that's possible considering this row in isolation. However, that is intriguingly not possible considering the whole grid, and I'll try and explain why. So every row has a number of these pairs that refer to each other, and again you might think that one of the rows could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but it's either made up of pairs, or you must in fact have an odd number of self-referential digits. There are 9 cells in every row. If you hive off a number of pairs, you're always going to be left with 1 or 3 or 5 or 7 or 9 cells, an odd number. However, in each column, how many self-referential digits are there? And that's the same as asking, how many 1s are there in column 1? Well, by the rules of Sudoku, there's only 1. How many 2s are there in column 2? There's only 1. So in each column, there is only 1 self-referential digit. And that tells us that there are 9 in the puzzle of these orange cells that I haven't found any of yet, but we will be colouring them orange if we can. But there are 9 in the puzzle in total, but each row must have at least 1, because you can't pair off all 9 cells. You can only pair off 8. And that tells us that each row must have 1. Each row must have at least 1 self-referential cell. The puzzle can only have 9 in total, so each row has 1. And that means this can't read 4, 5, 6 with 3 self-referential digits. One of these is self-referential and the others aren't. So this either goes 4, 6, 5 or 6, 5, 4, or if the 6 was self-referential, it would have to go 5, 4, 6. And it's a really weird thing about this setup of the grid. We've only done 1 or 2 puzzles like this before, but it works. So what I was considering here is that 2 is in column 2, 3 or 4, according to the possibilities from the thermo here. And 3 is in, oh, there we go. 3 is in columns 3, 4 or 5. Well, we know it's not in here because 3 in this box is confined to those cells. No, I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. It's 1. It works exactly right. If I got this right, it was great. 1, sorry, this is column 1, so it's telling us that 1 is in one of those 3 cells. And just as I know, how did I know that 1 was in these? Was that bogus pencil marking? No, that's because this is 4, 5 or 6. Yes, 1 is in one of those cells. So this means 1 can't be in these cells. Well, this means 1 is in one of these 3 cells, but we know it can't be in those 2 because it's in those. So this is a 1, and that's little enough to put a 1 on a thermo, but this is saying that 3 is in column 1. So we can fill in 3 there. Thermo laws tell us this is a 2. That 2 is the first self-referential digit we've found. These are green. Everything else in this row is going to have to pair off. And we've got by Sudoku, I think it is. How have I filled in 8 and 9 here? I can't even remember. Am I even right? Oh yes, that was because of thermos in these rows. Well, that's quite interesting now. So that means that in column 8, we have either a 4, 5 or 6 based on this indexing. I hope I've got that right. In column 9, we have either a 4, 5 or 6. So by the thermo rules, that is 4 or 5, this is 5 or 6. I can carry on pencil marking my thermo to the end. Oh, we've got a 4, 5, 6 triple up here. Now, what are these telling us? These are telling us these are telling us that 1, 2, and 3 are in these cells because they all have an index number of 4, 5, or 6. Wow, so this is a 7, 8, 9 triple. That's a 6. It just does my head in. But anyway, I've got there. Now, column 4 is where 9 goes. Column 5 is where 8 goes. Column 6 is where 7 goes. They form a pair. They form another pair. And they form a third pair. I haven't resolved this thermo, but this is telling us that 7 goes in either column 7 or 8. Well, it can't go in column 8 because of the thermo. 7 must be self-referential. That must be a 7. These now can't be self-referential for the rule I explained. We can only have 1 in each row. So that can't be 8 and must be 9. And this must be 8. And they're a pair. We've had... Okay, we couldn't have had any of these being self-referential. I don't think I can deal with those cells. And I don't think I can deal with these. Except that I know they can't run 4, 5, 6 in that order. Wow, this is mad. Anyway, let's pencil mark this 7 cell thermo. 1 or 3, 2, 3 or 4... 3, 4 or 5, 4, 5 or 6. 5 or 6, that can't be 7. So this can't be 6. That feeds back down. This can't be 5. This can't be 4. And this has to be 1 now. Right. Well, that's another digit. And that is obviously an index. That's telling us that the 2 is in column 1. And there's a little pair. And that gives us a 3 on the thermo. In fact, I think that may fill in the whole thermo or lots of it. All of it. All of it. There we go. That box is suddenly done. That 3 is self-referential. Now here in these other rows, 6, 5 and 4 are more helpful. 6 puts a 1 there. Ooh, a 1 there. 5 puts a 2 there. 3 puts a 4. 4 puts a 3 there. And that's 3 pairs. 8 is putting a 1 here. 9 is putting a... Gone colour again. Sorry, I'm losing my control here. 9 is putting a 2 here. 7 is putting a 3 here. That's a group of pairs. Look, Sudoku, 6, 5 and 4 are ruled out of those, which... Oh, and 3, 2 and 1 out of those. I don't know if that's going to fix these. Now, that's saying 1 is in one of those two. 2 is in one of those, and 3 is in one of those. Well, that's what the pencil marking has said anyway. Right, we have 4, 5, 6 here. This can't be a 6. This can't be a 4 for the thermo. Oh, we have 7, 8, 9 out here. Look, this cell can't be 8 by Sudoku. It can't be 9 by thermo logic. So that's a 7. This is an 8, 9 pair. One of these is going to have to be self-referential for the row. In fact, the 7 is telling us that's a 9. So that is a pair. The 8 is the self-referential. So I'm sorry we've come up with such a long word for that term. These are all going to be green. I'm not going to colour those yet. I'm going to colour them as I get them. This is a 7, 8, 9 triple. Again, this can't be 9. This can't be 7. This is a 4, 5, 6 triple. I have a feeling this whole puzzle is going to work in these triples all the way, roping all the way across. It might rope downwards as well, but I'm not guessing that. Oh, 7 is looking at that cell. So 8, 9, 7, that's going to give us the index keys. 8 gives us a 6 in column 8. So I can do Sudoku for the rest. 4 and 7 form a pair. 9 and 5 form a pair. 6 and 8 form a pair. And we are going along very nicely. Now, this must be virtually done. This is going to be the key clearly to the bottom 3 rows. So these digits we have left to put in this column are 3, 4, 6 and 7. Now, by thermo rules, they must ascend. And that gives us a 4, 6 pair. So we can actually fill in 7 and 3. This becomes an 8 because it can't be 9. This becomes a 1 because it can't be 2. Now let's use these for indexing. So let's start up here. 7 says there's a 2 in column 7. 8 says there's a 3 in column 8. Thermo says there's a 1 on the bulb. That says there's a 9 over here. And we have another triple set of pairs. Now, 1 is self-referential there. 3 says we've got a 2 here. Yes, and very unsurprisingly, we've ended up with 1 being self-referential in column 1. It was always going to be somewhere, but we found it. We found the 2 in column 2 and the 3 in column 3. Now, this is a 4, 5, 6 triple. Don't know how that works. This is a 4, 5, 6 triple. We get a thermo, tiny little one. That can't be 6. This can't be 4. Here's a deduction that's quite useful. Now, we said that these up here, these can't go 4, 5, 6 because that would give us 3 self-referentials in one row. The same is true down here, and it's really useful because if this was 6, well, these would forced by thermo logic to be 4, 5, and they'd all be self-referential. So that's not possible. So this is not 6. That's where the 6 is in the row. That's referring to this cell, which must be 5. They are a pair. This is the self-referential 4. That takes 4 out of those. This can't be 6 anymore, it's 5. We can finish off the thermo. 5 is the self-referential cell. And I have a feeling that must mean that 6 is the one up here. And we can presumably fill in this as a 5-4 pair. We can. And look, all those 4, 5, 6s are done. I can probably do 4, 5, 6 in these cells just by Sudoku. Bingo. But not just Sudoku, of course. That gives us the references to these cells. 6 is a 9. Oh, there we go again. 4 is a 7. 5 is an 8. And they all refer to each other. Those go green. I suddenly thought we didn't have an orange in this row, but we do. 7, 8, 9 here just by Sudoku. Or by colours. Sorry, 7, 8, 9. Now, there, 8 is, oh, rats. Well, I've just done them wrong. That's okay. Let's try it again. 9, 7, 8. 9 is the self-referential cell. 7 and 8 are a pair referring to each other. This is a 1, 2, 3 set. Let's get to that. No, we'll do that now. I was going to say let's save that to the end, but actually we're nearly at the end. 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3. But look at the thermo. Last 2-bit thermo sorting us out. 2 there, 3 there, 1 there. Now, they are going to refer back to here. 2 gets a 6. 3 gets a 5. 1 gets a 4. Those are a set of pairs, and they're going to do the rest. These are obviously all paired up because we've had the orange in this row. We've had all the oranges in the grid, and we can finish off. 3, 1, 2, 6, 4, 5. And the thermos all work. Oh, have I... I'm going to click... I've got something wrong, apparently. You've probably seen where I've done something wrong. Because I think I have my settings on to give me a tick if I've solved the puzzle correctly. Or if I could have. Yes, I've got 2 7s here. Right, and 2 8s next to them. And that might mean that I can cross these out and put them in as 8, 7. Now, have I done something wrong here? 4 should have an 8 there. 5 should have a 7 there, so I wrote them in wrong. That's all. There we go. That is it. Gosh, and it does my head in. I mean, that's why these ones go wrong, is because I just can't figure out what colour is what. Sorry, green was... orange was a bad choice, I think. Although people have complained about our green and yellow. Green and purple is a good contrast. There we go. And you can see that in the final grid, each column has its self-referential number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We had all this roping going on of the same 3 digits across the grid. Oops. And do we have downwards roping? No, I thought that was going to become 8, 6, 2. We don't. They're all a bit different downwards. Oh, we have it in the middle boxes. 6, 3, 7s, 4, 1, 8s. 5, 2, 9, but we don't have it in columns 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. But that's a really interesting puzzle. Thank you, Zycrazine, for sending that in. And yeah, I liked it. I mean, it didn't go as badly as I feared. I made a couple of mistakes along the way, but I think that was only typos, and or well, me picking up the indexing wrong down here. But that is right in the end, isn't it? 5 and 7. Yes, it is. So there we go. That is the solution to all the indices. Well done if you got that done, and hope to see you again tomorrow on the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.